Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. There's a whole lot of news out there to talk about, so let's talk about it. Kicking things off with a very sexy new reveal. It is Hot Toys Thor Love and Thunder Thor. Okay, I know, wait, don't go anywhere. Alright, the movie was not universally loved. I think it's fair to say that. But this Hot Toys figure, I mean... golly, it looks pretty. Say what you will about Thor's slightly over-the-top kind of wacky design, but oh my goodness, it translates into action figure form beautifully, especially when you're dealing with Hot Toys, who are doing the 1/6 scale, so you got all that more room to include all the little details in there. You got the shining, shimmering metallic parts. The Chris Hemsworth likeness is terrific. No word yet on price or release date, but I'm guessing about $300 in about a year's time. And you know what? Just cast the movie out of your mind, alright, and just appreciate the pretty action figure. He's even holding Zeus's thunderbolt, and imagine if he got that in a better movie with a Zeus who wasn't like the Zeus. Oh gosh, that was a terrible movie. It's a good action figure though. Speaking of superhero movie sequels that slightly divided the audiences, Remad Customs are making a not Bane action figure. This is the Destroyer, aka Motorcyclist. But oh my goodness, I think we can read between the lines. You don't need Columbo here to go, hey, that's a nice motorcyclist. Oh, just one more thing. Yeah, we know who it is. And you know what? We do, because it looks kind of like him. It's a very good likeness. I love the flak jacket, the soft goods man. That's what's always going to just tip something over the edge of what is extra high quality is those lovely little pockets and pouches and all those things that feel tangible and real. 1/12 scale as well. That'll be a nice little companion piece to some of your McFarlane Dark Knight trilogy figures right there. Plus, he's got the full motorcyclist gear as well. No word on price or release. I know, I come here just for the sizzle and not the steak. Probably 5K Toys, I can imagine, is going to be stocking this one. It seems like that's the kind of thing that's within their wheelhouse. When I find out more, you know, I'll try to let you know. It's not very reassuring, is it? I'll do my best. I can't promise I'll try, but I'll try to try. Mattel have shown off some more WWE figures that are going to be coming out soon, and a few prototypes as well. And honestly, ever since WWE has kind of had this new beginning, and they, Vince has sold pretty much all of his shares now, and he's long gone, and they're trying to like start over again. I feel a bit less grubby in talking about them. And I mean, hey, look, when the product's hot, you can't deny they're putting on some good shows, and they're putting out some good action figures. Let me just rattle some of these off here. So first of all, we've got renders of the Great Muta, and this is kind of exciting because Great Muta was one of the first wrestlers that really kind of opened my eyes to how theatrical and just over the top and awesome a character's persona could be in pro wrestling. This is one of his more early sort of styles by the looks of this figure, more of his 80s, 90s look, before it got super bizarre, and hopefully we can get some figures that look like that, because full-on Demon Muta, he was just a walking action figure, man. He was wicked. Then also we're getting Kairi Sane as well. Since it's based just off a render, it's hard to assume the details, but the face and the hair, like, it looks beautiful. It really does, with the parasol and everything as well. She looks like she's going to be a really great figure too. Then someone who's equally sexy, but in a different way, is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. With not one, not two, but three different faces, so you can look at him and say, whoo-wee. Ain't he pretty? That's a terrible Dusty impression. Nonetheless though, it's a nice looking action figure. Then we've got Bray Wyatt with a whole bunch of swap out parts so that you can have him in his kind of normal looking guise, and also in his neon splash, whatever the Mountain Dew weird lights out match was that he had. That was the last time we saw him as a character, at least in a match. So there's a real sentimentality to that. So it's nice to see more Bray Wyatt figures coming out. Then we have Rey Mysterio in a yellow and red, slightly Flash-looking type costume. What's really most amazing about Rey is just the fact that he's continuing to turn back the hands of time in the year of our Lord 2024, still wrestling like it's, I was going to say 2005, 2005, but I think his knees might have been worse in 2005. God bless stem cells, man, they can work miracles. And also, we're getting Dominic Mysterio as well. Probably one of the greatest ever examples of what a heel turn can do for a character. Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Man looks like he never spent a day in his life in the gym. Doesn't matter now, because he's a greaseball heel and so much fun to watch. Then we got Tiffany Stratton, who I'm really not that familiar with at all. She looks, just on the surface, like your typical athletic, blonde pro wrestler. But I'm told that she's actually getting some really amazing crowd reactions, and she might be the next big thing. So if she's got the personality and I sound like a bit of a neckbeard, but the work rate to go with it, she could be the next big thing. And let me talk to you, yeah. I was about to say Eli Drake. LA Knight. I mean, that wouldn't have necessarily been the wrong name, just the wrong time for it. LA Knight, still like real upper mid-card, and getting an upper mid-card type action figure to go with it. And then we got a man who will spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. And that is Carlito Caribbean Cool. Again, talking about turning back the hands of time, holy moly, this guy is more jacked and stacked than he was 15 years ago. Hey, I don't know how you're doing it, but I wouldn't mind trying it. Then we got Becky in her Siren, I was going to say knockoff gear. It's not knockoff, tribute. So Becky Lynch in her Siren tribute gear, which is really cool, actually. I like to see that. I wonder if you could do any like head swaps. That'd be kind of interesting. Nonetheless, she looks kind of cool. And then finally, we're rounding it out with another Bray Wyatt figure. Someone who just had so many fantastic, amazing, toyetic kind of looks. It's great that we're still getting more images and just kind of mementos of the man and his career. So those are always going to be welcome additions. Hey yo, óyeme chico. It's time for the bad guy. And also big sexy Kevin Nash as well as the Outsiders. These both look really fun. I loved it when I saw Kevin Nash in the bright red, because I just thought, you know what? Mix it up a little bit. He had some cool costumes in WCW. And then Scott Hall just looking like the king of cool Scott Hall. This looks like a really fun set here. Then we're going way back in time, although actually it's pretty much the same time period. We're getting the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher. That was... yeah, the tag team division was not strong in WWE at the time, but these guys, they were kind of synonymous with 1997, 1998, so a little blast from the Attitude Era. And we also have the Ring General, Gunther. I think this looks terrific. These three heads on this dude, all of them, fantastic. Along with the soft goods coat as well, this dude looks like a boss. And then a self-high five with DDP. It looks like you're getting two different versions here. It's funny that he was always so synonymous with having his ribs taped up that now you get a DDP action figure, he's got his ribs taped up. But like they've always been doing with these Mattel Deluxe looking ones, the faces, they always look so good. McFarlane have shown off full reveal images of their Movie Maniacs Matrix statues. We got Neo and Trinity. They're going to be released in June and they're going to be $25 each. So just statues, no articulation, just the way McFarlane likes them. But yeah, they look kind of fun. Hiya Toys are doing a 6-inch Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead, going to be shipping out in the first quarter of next year. And if you order it directly through Hiya Toys, then you can pick them up for about $90. Otherwise, it's going to be about $110 on general retail. And yeah, Hiya Toys, they're still doing amazing work, especially at this 1/12 scale. Because when I saw it was 6 inches, I thought, hang on a second, Hiya Toys, they're normally doing the 1/18 scale stuff. What's going on here? So yeah, they're going for the good old 1/12 scale, you know, the best scale. And they're throwing in all the soft goods, all the weapons, all the different accessories. This looks like a really nice little bit of action figure you can add to your collection if you're a Walking Dead fan. So yeah, he's about a year away, but this is one that could be well worth looking forward to. Hot Toys are doing an updated version of their armored Batman from Batman v Superman. And honestly, it looks beautiful. I mean, that movie's terrible. Objectively, fight me. But you won't, because you agree. Terrible movie. But Affleck was the bomb as Batman in that. And his armored batsuit, it looked great. They actually took the comic design and translated it beautifully on screen. I thought that was fantastic how they did it. And Hot Toys, I guess the first one, they thought, you know what? we can do better. So they're zhuzhing it up and putting them out again. Going to be out around about this time next year. Not up for pre-order yet, so no official prices, but just looking at the pretty pictures, you know it's probably going to cost around that $300 mark, but it's got die-cast metal and just all the nice little accoutrements that really up that quality. And at 1/6 scale, yeah, he's going to be dominating any shelf he's on. And honestly, not even being a big DC guy, but I appreciate a cool looking figure, and that looks pretty wicked. As I spoke about on the last episode, McFarlane are doing their new Kickstarter for their Spawn Batman statue, and now we got all the pictures to go with it, and a price as well. 500 clams it's gonna cost you. That's expensive, but also for a statue, that's kind of what I'd come to expect. So that seems in line. They need $150,000 worth of orders. So right now, I guess that's just ticking up as it goes. I can see this being quite popular. I mean, this is some big 90s nostalgia for a lot of folks who now have some disposable income. I should be in that. I'm in the bracket for the nostalgia, just not for the disposable income. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. But yeah, looking at these pictures, it does look really nice. Even not being a statue person, I can appreciate that would look pretty wicked on your shelf. So yeah, if you want to buy into it, then hopefully in a year's time or so, you can let me know how it looks, because in the pictures, it looks pretty awesome. Starman are showing off their new 1/6 scale Cammy action figure from Street Fighter. I say action figure, you know, being 1/6 scale with all of this kind of tooling, that's more of your high-end collectible, don't you know? And this does look very high-end. Looks like it has a silicone body, so that has its own little issues that you're going to have to contend with as well, because sometimes you've got to do things to maintain the silicone so it doesn't crack or anything. I've had a couple of silicone figures, and there's nothing that's presented itself as an issue yet. I guess the Japanese climate, it's behaving itself. But this, with the soft goods and everything as well, the hair, the beret, they've done an amazing looking job. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. They've given her the proportions and the curves and the thickness that you think, yeah, you're doing Cammy justice in that one. So honestly, this looks like a lot of fun. I think they've made themselves a pretty cool looking figure there. Up for pre-order now is Snail Shell's Pumpkin Princess for $90, and oh, dang it. I really love this because it's pumpkins and Halloween and all that kind of imagery. I'm a big sucker for it. Throw in adorable little anime princess girl, and the fact that this is like a mech that you can transform and play around with and having all these different kinds of modes and things. This just looks like so much fun. I really dig it. Being here in Osaka, it should start popping up in stores in the next month or two. So I won't be crazy. I won't put in any pre-orders. But if I just happen to be walking through the streets and I see this in a shop window, I don't know. I mean, I'm only human. I might have to give in and get it, because it looks like everything that's in my wheelhouse. Mostly giant robot pumpkin mech. Yeah, you had me with that. This is a very wrestling-heavy episode because Powertown, which is a company I'm not familiar with, they are doing TNA action figures. So nice to see TNA branching back into the action figure market. So we're getting 4 to start with. We're getting Eddie Edwards, we're getting Moose, we're getting Jordan Grace, and who else was it? Josh Alexander. There you go. So 4 of the heavy hitters from TNA, particularly Jordan Grace. I don't know how long she's going to be staying in TNA, because she just looks like this phenomenal, like, next level uber athlete, and she's already appeared in the Royal Rumble. So I'm imagining her days in that promotion are going to be numbered. I think WWE are going to be snapping her up within a year or two. So in the meantime, they might as well get an action figure from her. WWE have just released the poster for Backlash in France, and I just wanted to show it because there are some people who are just born to wear a world championship, and Cody Rhodes, I mean, holy moly, with his Homelander style gear and the red, white and blue, he's even got like his own logo tattooed on his neck. The man just was born for this role, so I gotta give it credit. And also just shout out some cool graphic design. This poster looks amazing. The dude looks like a walking comic book character. That's so cool. So again, as much as old Dave would hate to admit it, it's another reason to like WWE right now. Paramount Studios have officially confirmed that 2025, or maybe 2026, will be one of the years in which we will see the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover movie. And this, okay, I guess. They've made some good Transformers movies, they've made some terrible ones, and G.I. Joe never really got out of the starting block. I would like it if this is a fresh reboot of both franchises together. Then again, the last Beast Transformers movie did set up G.I. Joe, so I'm guessing it's going to stay in that continuity. Nonetheless, you know I'm going to end up watching it anyway, because whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's Transformers and G.I. Joe. So of course Dave's going to buy a ticket. April 25th, there's going to be a Hasbro Pulse stream, and they're going to show off a new creation by Robosen, and judging by this picture, it's going to be a Megatron, I assume. That looks like Megatron's face. And Robosen are insane. They've made the transforming Optimus Prime, they made a transforming Grimlock, and a Bumblebee as well, I think. Megatron presents a weird one, though, because he's the first one they're doing where the robot shrinks down to a much smaller thing. And, like, you're going to have him turn into a handgun? I don't think that's going to, even if it was just a big handgun, I don't think that's going to work. So maybe they're going to do a tank version of Megatron? I don't know. I'm intrigued. But you know what? We'll find out on the 25th. Now this is interesting. I'm throwing this out here just because these two photos are doing the rounds on the internet, and they are potential leaks from a factory that might just possibly be making a Marvel Legends Superior Spider-Man. That's all we got to go on, all right? So as far as like an actual source or anything, I don't know. I've seen these pictures shared by multiple people, and multiple people have sent them to me because they've said, Dave, oh my goodness, you said we were going to get a Superior Spider-Man, and now it looks like they're making it. And I'm like, look, I mean, granted, I've been right with every single prediction I've made, but I mean, there's no guarantee we're going to get one. But we probably are. And you know what? I'll be so happy, because Superior Spider-Man's one of my absolute favorite modern characters. And if the Hasbro team do him justice, boom! Gonna be a happy boy right here. In video game hype, I occasionally cover video games. Phantom Fury. This is a game that's just had its trailer drop, and oh my goodness, if you are someone of around about my age demographic and you grew up with games like Doom, Quake, and Half-Life, it's just a love letter. It looks like a love letter to late 90s first-person shooters. This looks like so much fun. Going to be available on Steam and also consoles as well. That was the main thing I was looking for. Like, don't make me become a PC weirdo in order to try and play this. But you watch the trailer and just the music, the graphics, the vibe. I love it that they've managed to recreate that kind of blocky, pixely look without it being ugly. It's smoothed over. Actually, you know what it was giving me a big bang of? Deus Ex. Oh man, the original Deus Ex. That's what it was. That's what it was giving me. So yeah, looking at this trailer, I'm very hyped for this. This game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and you know what? That's not all. Because another trailer has dropped for a game called Outer Terror, which looks like it's straight from the grindhouse, even with the ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da type movie intro for this trailer. And it looks like a combination of Hotline Miami with a little bit of Vampire Survivor in there as well. I don't know exactly how it's going to play, but it just looks like it has that great, grimy, grindhouse, nasty fun, but also kind of cartoony and tongue-in-cheek sort of aesthetic. So these two games together, if they come out, I don't know, I mean, hopefully in the next couple of months, they could be big, fun, dumb summer games. And honestly, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So yeah, there's some fun stuff on the horizon. Now I just need the time to play them. Never gonna get it. Marvel Comics are starting the hype for their big Spider-Man summer story, and it looks like Peter Parker is finally going to become the Green Goblin, which is a weird thing to say, but then again, this entire Zeb Wells run has been pretty weird. And they kind of started this story several months ago with Peter getting the sins of the Green Goblin put into him, and then they kind of got over that because they had to stop the story to do gang wars, because, you know, you can't have a story when there's got to be a multi-part crossover happening. So now that Gang Wars is finished, and that was much ado about nothing, now we can get back to the whole Spider-Man Green Goblin thing. Honestly, I got no idea where this goes, and I'm kind of looking at it a little bit more like a train wreck than an actually invested comic book reader. But Spider-Man's always going to be my guy. I'm always going to read his comics, and at least the Spider-Man Goblin design that they've done, honestly, it's something that I kind of sketched out in my mind when I was a kid. I was like, well, what if the Green Goblin brought back Ben Reilly, but Ben Reilly was evil and he was working for him as a Spider Goblin and he had a purple and green Spider-Man costume, and then they're doing it 30 years later. So you're welcome, Zeb Wells, for doing my idea back to me, reading my mind as a child 30 years ago and then doing that story. Well, guess what? I beat you to it. Yeah, there you go. I'm claiming ownership of that one. Over in Cosplay Corner, a big shout out to Katie DeCobre Cosplay. I think that's how you pronounce the name, but what's most important is what the pictures look like. And oh my giddy lord, look at some of these costumes and the lighting and the after effects and all that stuff. It all comes together to just make an absolutely fantastic set of cosplay portfolio pictures, I do declare. So while you're checking out some of those, I also remind you that if you want to help out model behavior, then you can do by going to Into the AM. They are the sponsors of this video after all. You can click the link in the description below and get 10% off your order. Plus, with the whole different bunches of bundle deals and things they do, you can completely refit and rekit your summer wardrobe. You're going to be looking the business and you're going to be helping out model behavior because they're going to see that you're doing that through my link and go, hey, this sponsorship is working out. We better keep on sponsoring Dave. And you know what? I'll be very grateful. So gang, thank you so much for checking out the sponsor. Thank you Into the AM for sponsoring this channel. And thank you Katie for doing some incredible looking cosplay. Otherwise you'd have to stare at me while I'm doing this shilling. No one wants that. All right, I think it's time to wrap up this episode. And that does it for Good News for today, gang. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think about the items covered? Comment below. Let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta join the 6-1 clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. That would really help out the channel. And if you want to go one step beyond, then you can do by getting yourself a beautiful model behavior channel membership. If you grab yourself one of those, then whenever we do a live stream, you can comment in the chat, you can speak to all the people in there, you can go back into the archive, watch the old videos, see some of the exclusive ones. It's a good time. And plus, you can just strut down the street with your head held high and your chest puffed out, knowing that you're helping me crank out more of these videos every week. So gang, thank you so much for all your support. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior. Say what you will about Thor's over-the-top, elaborate, crazy helmet and design, but my goodness, it transforms into action figure form pretty well. I meant to say translate. That's why that sentence didn't make sense. Don't worry, it translates into action. Jeez Louise. Cup of coffee.